G'day dreamers, welcome back to another episode of the Come Up Starter Kit. We are here at Rayners Orchards, which is a fruit picking farm. Now if you love your fruit as much as I do, but you are terrible at picking what's a good fruit and what's a bad fruit, or you simply want to grow some delicious fruit, well in this episode we're going to speak to the founder Len and he's going to teach us his ways. Let's go. Rayners Orchards is situated just an hour's drive east of Melbourne's CBD in a beautiful spot called Woori Yallock.
Now, I'm here with the man, or the great man, Len Rayner, who is the founder of Rayners Orchard. Yep. Now, Len, what made you first get into doing all this?
Well, we used to own a little business, a fish and chip shop up at Yarra Junction, and the pressure on that was pretty big.
Right.
So before we bought that, we'd actually bought this property, so 40 acres, and we decided that it was costing us a lot of money to upkeep and all the rest. It needed fences and you just had to keep throwing money at it, and we decided we couldn't actually afford it. So we planted an orchard, which against every other farmer in the valley's advice, and we sort of, that didn't work real well.
What made you go against the grain?
Pig-headedness. Yeah.
Right.
Every single farmer said don't do it, and when I look back on it, they were right.
Right.
And until we got into about 20 odd years ago, farmers markets turned up, and that was our salvation. I used to have this recurring nightmare before the farmers market started of driving backwards and not being able to stop.
Yeah.
And that's how our orchard was going. It was going backwards and I couldn't stop it.
Right.
But farmers markets turned up, and from that point on, it sort of evolved into a tourism business.
Okay.
And before COVID hit, we were about 75% international tourism. So we were showcasing Victoria's fruit to Asia, pretty much.
And so what was the initial dream when you first started? What were you hoping that this would
Well,
be?
when I first started, we just planted an orchard to sell fruit wholesale.
Yeah, okay.
There was no dream, it was just get out of the rat race. I mean, it was a good life. We were getting 3 or 4 months off a year with nothing much to do. So we sort of grabbed a tent and hiked around most of Australia.
Oh, right.
And we did that for years as the kids were growing up. Had some good adventures too.
Yeah, right, okay. And then so you first started doing peaches and cherries at the start?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
At that point, there wasn't very many nectarines on the market. And as we got into it, the new varieties started coming out.
Right.
And that got to be quite exciting. We still have access to all the newest varieties. I've got an apricot there that grows this big.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. It looks fabulous, absolutely perfect for the supermarkets. It looks great, no flavour at all. So perfect for the supermarkets, as I said.
Yeah.
We also have a purple skin apricot with red flesh. We've got red flesh peaches and nectarines. We've got every coloured plum of the rainbow that you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
So with the stone fruit, there's some pretty exciting stuff.
Right.
And all the new interspecific varieties, which are crosses between each of the peach, plums, nectarines and apricots, some of that stuff, the fruit is just to die for.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just incredibly good fruit.
Yeah, very good. Now you've pivoted within your business a few times, and I think it's a great story when it's sort of you first thought this is what we're going to do, but you sort of moved along that way.
Yeah. Well, our first and best move was the farmers markets.
Okay.
At one time we had 3 weeks going out every weekend, and we were doing 24 markets a weekend. At that point we started making money,
Yeah.
and which was a real treat, I can tell you. And then of course the people at the farmers markets, being enthusiastic about where their stuff comes from, wanted to visit the farm.
Right.
So we made a few inquiries, and we had to get permits to have people come in.
Okay.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we went through all the permit process. We talked to Tourism Victoria and all the tour bodies.
And that was quite hard to obtain.
Not really. The Shire has been very supportive of agritourism. It's what the Yarra Valley is about, and what we're doing is exactly what the Shire wants the farmers to do, so agritourism.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we took a really big gamble. We got $750,000 when we had no money and no income.
Wow.
And we built the cafe, and it all went from there. The first few years were a bit tough. The first year we opened, we had the bushfires over at Yarra Glen, so we had all these bookings that got cancelled. The first year was really tough.
Right.
Fortunately, I put a bit of some money aside for
Right.
and it was lucky we did, because we needed every cent of it.
Right.
But after a couple of years, it all really started coming good. And then Tourism Victoria took us under our wing, and under their wing, they took us around Asia to meet the tour operators there.
Right.
And from that point on, that business just exploded.
Okay. How do you separate emotion when you're about to make a business decision and you know that it's not going well?
That's a pretty interesting question. I'm not sure I know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I mean, you try things, and if they work, they work, and if they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, being a farmer, you're used to, as I said before, you're used to things not going right. So it's just part of how it all works out. Yeah.
And I think you have had such a huge vision, and with that vision, you've also had to sell your vision not only to your wife, but your family. How do you bring that?
Well, I usually drag the family along, rather reluctantly.
Yeah. Just making a decision and they'll come on board.
They tend to go along with it all. I mean, the wife puts up with, when I bought this block of land, I didn't tell her about it. We were looking for 5 acres.
Right.
And because 5 acres was pretty expensive, because everybody wants to buy 5 acres. Anyway, we decided we couldn't afford that, so we bought, this was a bush block,
Right.
so we bought 40 acres for a cheaper price.
Okay.
First mistake.
First mistake, right?
The second mistake was planning an orchard. I should have just got a real job.
Right.
But it all turned out all right, and it just took us 40 years to get there.
And so, in terms of the farmland, was it barren? Was there any life of being able to plant stuff, or did you have to rip it all out?
There was a bush block.
So full bush.
There was nothing on it. It took us an hour to walk from the road to where the house is,
Okay.
20 metres that way.
And so, how long did it take for you to actually clear the land and then be able to actually grow?
Well, it was probably a year and a half before we were able to plant it in.
Wow.
So there's a lot of work in clearing land.
Yeah, exactly.
Bulldozer in and push the trees over. And then we had to rip the soil and thaw all the roots out.
Okay.
And then we planted spuds. The idea of that was to break the soil up.
Gotcha.
It nearly worked.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for the next 20 years, or 25 years, we were finding spuds growing all over the place. You couldn't get rid of them.
Right. So they've done more damage than good.
No, they were all right. It just was a nuisance. They didn't grow everywhere.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It didn't matter how hard you worked, you could never get every spud.
Out of the ground. Yeah, okay. And as the seasons change, do you have to keep, or is there a strong understanding that you need to have of what is about to grow? And is there a different care package that you need to do for each of those?
Well, there probably should be, but because there's so many varieties of fruit, they all get treated the same, except for the citrus. They need to be fertilised fairly more regularly.
Okay.
But everything else is treated the same, and if it doesn't like it, we'll tough teas, and it works.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So
So
the
really,
secret is to not overthink things all the time.
yeah, right. And it's just really sort of maintaining what you effectively grow.
Well, this time of the year, we replace a lot of trees, so I've got probably 500 or 600 trees to plant.
Okay.
These are the all new varieties and some pretty special.
And do they generally have a lifespan?
Yeah, they do. Peaches and nectarines, the most you get out of those is usually about 20 years.
Okay.
After about 15 years, the crop starts to deteriorate. And if it's a particularly good variety, we'll keep it up for 20 years, but after that, you just got to do it out.
Yeah.
Where the trees fall apart. But a lot of the trees, apples and apricots and plums, they'll last for 50 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But having said that, the newer varieties are so much better that we're constantly replacing those too.
Okay. And then we've got, well, at this time, winter time, a lot of citrus fruit. How long does that take generally from growing? How long will it take to grow sort of?
If you get it right, we plant a tree and the year after we nearly always get some fruit to try. And then 2 years we get enough fruit to include on the tours. 3 years then you start getting a bit of a commercial crop. And by the time you get to, that's with citrus.
Right.
By the time you get to 8 years, that's the perfect tree.
Yeah. And is it purely here where people just come and pick fruit? There's not, are you still selling commercially?
Not really, no. We've got a few friends that we sell a bit of fruit to.
Yeah.
That's it. Before COVID hit, we were actually having to buy fruit from the farmers around us because we couldn't grow enough.
Right.
Yeah.
As in, when you say that you couldn't grow enough, that you had to plant more?
Well, I've only got 25 acres of land, so that's all I can use.
Yeah.
But things like apples, we were buying lots of apples from the local farm because we use apples for drying and preserves and pies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We were buying plums off the mates because we couldn't grow enough. We make a really superb black sauce.
Yeah, right.
And we won an award at the World Road Show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
And so what else do you sell when it comes to your produce that you grow here that people can come up and buy?
Well, we do preserved fruit. We've got jams and chutneys and relishes.
Yeah.
We've got our preserved fruit is fantastic. We did 16,000 bottles for the farmers market this year, all by hand on my own.
Right.
Yeah, and we're well on track to sell all of that before September.
Okay.
Yeah. We do fruit juice, and it's interesting. Our fruit juice has 2 ingredients: fruit and water. So we have to put a little bit of water in because some of the apples are so sweet that you just can't drink it at full strength. It intrigues me. You go to the supermarket and the fruit juice has got 6 ingredients. How the heck can you have 6 ingredients in a fruit juice? I just don't see how that works.
So it's all natural?
It's all natural, yeah.
Yeah, no preservatives?
No, and for the vegans, everything in our shop here is vegan.
Right, okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the freezer, there's a few pipes, so that's not vegan, but everything else is.